Yo, what's going on, everybody? Good to see you. It is Saturday, July 11th, 2020, 3 p.m. here in New Vienna, Iowa. Happy to be here with you all. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. It's 3:02 technically. Had some technical difficulties. You'd think I'd have this down by now. I even have just been sitting here waiting for like the last 10 minutes, waiting for like the right time to kind of like get everything started and get going. I thought everything set up. I went to go hit like the go live button, and then it just said, can't go live right now. So I had to kind of reconfigure stuff, but I'm here. And I've got another sunscreen face again today. So that's the color. Well, I'm sure I've done many things wrong in terms of color and this camera, but nothing wronger than normal. It's just I got sunscreen on today. I was playing with the kids outside. I mentioned yesterday we got them a little kiddie pool. We're playing outside with it today. So we were out there, had some sunscreen on. My father-in-law, I think he's probably been like maybe been biting his tongue a little bit, but he finally let it out because my daughter, who is a little bit afraid of bugs, like basically gave up after a little while. I was like, "There's too many bugs outside. I'm not gonna play in that swimming pool." And he's like, "You're in Iowa now." I forget what he said. He's like, "You're in Iowa now. You can't be afraid of bugs," or something like that. And so she came out like another 10, 15 minutes later again after that. So that's what's been going on here. I think they're all outside now. They were all outside. No one was actually in the pool. They were watching like iPads. My wife was talking with my father-in-law. Everyone's kind of sitting in the shade near that little kiddie pool, but no one's actually in it. But it's nice to have, I guess. Hopefully you guys are doing well. We got Running with Pete here. Said he did a 7-mile run this morning in Phoenix at 91 degrees at 5:30 in the morning. That's insane. That's like demoralizing heat. Whew. It's going to be 115 there today. First 115 of the year, and 117 tomorrow, which would break the old record of 115. Whew. I wouldn't, I don't know. Yeah, 5:30 a.m. is what you'd have to do. I mean, even then, 91 degrees. At least it's not humid, but still, 91 degrees is hot. Martha's here talking about bears. Matt B says, yo. Stevie76 says, did you swim in the kiddie pool? I didn't today, which I think my daughter was really disappointed that I didn't. So we filled it up yesterday, and the water was like super cold, even though like we did like a bucket line carrying, like me, my wife, and my mother-in-law carrying warm water from inside the house to add to like the hose water that was in the kiddie pool. And like, but it was still chilly. And today, like my daughter was like, are you going to get in there with us? I'm like, no, it's a kiddie pool. You guys go in it. I get to sit on the side and drink lemonade. And so she was disappointed in that. So maybe I needed to get in there. Show her like a good example, how to not to be afraid of some bugs in the water. Bill and I says, hi. H-I-I-I-I-I-I. Spence Ohms gives a wave. What's going on, Spence? Mark Rainey's here. Saying, nice work to all in the grit challenge. Awesome. And we got Nathan N. Innes Dunbar's coming in. Good evening to you. Doku Tagurin says, hello, everyone. Mark Rainey, Tony Young says, good morning. JC is here as well. Awesome. All right. Lewis M says, it's 97 degrees with 42% in H-Town, so my jog to the bus stop should be fun. Yeah. I mean, 42% doesn't sound like it's that much humidity, but it is 97 degrees. So it's hot. It's hot. Man, that's so much heat. That's so much heat. Mark Rainey says, finished Hal Higdon's 50K training. Mount Hood 50K trail run was supposed to be tomorrow. It's canceled. Oh, well. Couch plans. Oh, all right. Well, you could always go run a 50K. Just do one on your own if you wanted to do that. Chris Colangelo says, when is the FKT attempt? I think probably in about like 10 days from now. I've got to coordinate it with my wife's schedule so we could figure out like car drop-offs because I'm doing a point-to-point. I think like maybe the next challenge will be to do the double. Do like 60 miles in one day. That'd be insane. But I'll do like, I'll get dropped off in Dyersville and I have to finish it in Dubuque, which will mean that I'll have to leave a car for myself in Dubuque. So we'll drive there, I'll drop off a car, and then she'll take me back home. So I got to figure out, I'll try to do it like on a Monday or Tuesday real early in the morning so that way there's less people that could potentially, I can encounter. Chat Langford said, if you could have one shoe for everything, which one would it be? Probably a Vaporfly 4%. That could do everything. It just doesn't last long, but if we're talking about like a magic shoe that lasts forever, or the one that I could have like an endless supply of, that would be it. Jazzy says, wave and wink. Those are the two emojis he used. I'm explaining that for the people. I know you guys can see that in the chat, but I'm explaining it for people listening. He gives a wink and a wave from Cowansville, Quebec, Canada. Awesome. Very cool. Tony Young says, only 5 degrees in Auckland, New Zealand at the moment. Ooh, yeah, it's winter for you guys down there. Yeah, someone was saying that, I forget what I was posting about or what I was talking about, but someone was like, hey, we don't have that here. You should come down to New Zealand. And I was like, I don't know. I've been hearing nothing but good things about New Zealand in the news. So I can't say that it's tempting because I don't know, just moving that far away. It's literally the opposite side of the planet. Seems like insurmountably far, but it is a place that I would love to visit and go run. Ross W., speaking of 50Ks being canceled, said his 50K was canceled earlier this year, ran it solo using the house as an aid station. Yeah, I think that's kind of a cool idea. I've done previously, in previous summers running around here, I haven't ventured as far away as I've been this summer, and I've been having a lot of fun doing that. But the loop that I normally run in here is about 5.25 miles, and so when I've done like 20-mile runs, I've run with nothing and use the house as an aid station. That usually ends up working pretty good. I kind of like having that. But then also like as I was leaving like the aid station, quote unquote, the house, like after like the 10.5 mile mark, then you're like realizing I've got 2 more laps to go. Kind of felt like a lot. Whereas like if I did like a 20-mile out and back, I just don't think that would be that like daunting. Well, maybe I think some people prefer laps though, so it could go either way. John Manella did 16 miles this morning in the Nova Blast. Felt outstanding. Very cool. Awesome. Mark Chancoco is in Orlando and is hot. Mark, I heard that Disney World opened today. My wife is and me and my family, we're very like keen on that. We're very, I mean, we like Disney World. I don't know. Like, I don't know where it is where you guys are, but where we live in Chicago, or where we normally live in Chicago, you kind of have to test the waters when you talk about Disney. I wouldn't say half. Most of the parents, they're like, their approach with kids is like, here, take an iPad, watch a Disney something. That's kind of where we fall in. Or like a lot of the families love Disney stuff. And then I think there's a solid minority of people that are like, oh, we would never let our kids watch TV, and especially not Disney. I think I get it. I don't relate to it, but I think I understand it. But anyway, we really like Disney. Lincoln Park, Lakeview is a weird place to raise kids sometimes. But we really like Disney World, and our kids are at the age where, like, you know, they're prime Disney World ages. And so we were like, well, I don't know, maybe we can go. Because if they're limiting capacity and everything's socially distant, that'd be actually really great for us, because we're normally really concerned about like too much contact with other people with my daughter's peanut allergy, especially like in eating areas. But one of the reasons why we like Disney World so much is because they take really good care of people with food allergies. So we're like, maybe. But now, like with Florida going crazy with like the number of cases, I don't know how that park is opening, or like how I don't know. I don't think I'd feel comfortable going down there. Freddie Paluto says, hi, Kofuzi. Fred from Colombia. Oh, awesome. Very cool. Good to see you, Freddie. Matt B says, what's your favorite noon flavor? My favorite noon flavor is the one, I don't think it's like mango orange or something like that. Or tropical. I forget what flavor it is, but it's like it's not orange, but it's like orange and maybe mango, maybe pineapple leaf flavor. Some of those tropical leaf flavors. And it has caffeine in it. So that's my favorite one. My second favorite is the fruit punch, but that doesn't have caffeine in it. But when I want noon, like later in the evening, that's what I'll usually have. So I usually have both of those on hand. Although I haven't had any noon. I ran out of noon when we were at the other house in Guttenberg, and I just haven't ordered more. So I've been going noonless for like the last month, maybe. Let's see. Link 130 boy says still really crowded even with the rules based on picks. That's kind of disappointing. But I also feel like, what looks crazy in a photo, like in real life on foot. I mean, I know a lot of people talk about it that way, and I'm not trying to like apologize for anybody, but I do feel like, being outside and more than 6 to 10 feet away, you could have a lot of people in a big space like Disney World, and it could look really crowded in a photo. I think on the ground I might be comfortable with it, but just with the general state, like I'd have to fly there, or I guess I could drive there, but I don't really. I'm very much not interested in driving far, not with my kids. They get so impatient, and they're not used to being in cars because they're used to living in Chicago where we just like walk everywhere. I remember at one point, my daughter, when she was a lot younger, at one point she wanted to come here to Grandma's house, and she goes, "Daddy, can we go to Grandma's house?" I'm like, No, we can't go to Grandma's house today. It's too far. I think it was like on a Thursday night. She asked if she could go like that night, and she goes, like, "How far is that? Like, can't we just walk? We can't just walk there?" And I was like, "No, it's like 200 miles away." And I was like trying to like explain the distance of 200 miles to like a 4-year-old, but she really wanted to walk. So they don't spend a lot of time in car seats. They are used to walking most places. So like the idea of like a over 1,000 mile road trip is really just far for me. All right. Martha says her Runner's World mag came yesterday, which has an ad for a new marathon and half marathon in Boulder, organized by some New York road runners who believe Boulder should have its own major marathon and half marathon. That's interesting. I think I'd like to run the Boulder. Is that how you guys say it? The Boulder, or is it the Boulder? I don't know how you guys say it, but I'd like to run that race. But I think it'd be cool. But it's also be like, ooh, that's a lot of altitude to run a marathon or half marathon. Tom Anderson says, "Hey Kofuzi, caught your summer running video earlier. Have you ever done a test to see how much you sweat, weigh yourself before and after a run, and the difference in weight in grams is your sweat in milliliters?" I've never tested that before. That's interesting. Like I know like what fueled a lot of like Gatorade's like science in like the 90s was lots of testing like that. And like I don't know where they came with the number or like the concept, but they said like the exact amount of ounces of fluid that you lose in sweat is the exact amount of ounces that you should like replenish yourself with. And they came up with some crazy numbers. I think subsequent studies have like kind of disproven that hypothesis, but I've never really thought too much about that. That's an interesting idea. I guess I could get the scale out and see. Maybe I'll try that. We'll see. Because I just think that'd be fun to see. Like, how much am I really losing? Because I know, like, so at some ultras, don't they make you do, or like some of like it was it like the Badwater race where like they weigh you at the different like checkpoints, and if you've lost too much liquid, they won't let you keep going, or they wait till you hydrate more or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, I've seen some of that stuff. Dennis888 says, "Good morning from Sydney, Australia." Awesome. You should come over down under once travel restrictions ease. Yeah, I would love to. I don't know how I would ever get to Australia. It just seems so far. But I would love to. I do want to do a lot of traveling once I feel comfortable traveling. I certainly don't feel comfortable traveling now. Not with the U.S., like everywhere in the U.S. going, just kind of falling apart. So it's going to be a little while longer, I think. But I would love to. I'd love to see more of the country. I'd love to go run in lots of different places, explore different parts of the world. I think that'd be really great. All right. Shannon says, good to see you, Shannon. Says, my parents are going to Estes and Boulder tomorrow, by the way. Ooh. All right. Martha says, giving more details on this, on some of the races. Martha says, Boulder is 10 miles. It has tons of runners and elites too. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen Seth James Damore had a video on it, and Ryan Doozer had videos on it too. He's been running it since he was a kid, since he was real little. So it's been a long time. I think he's my age. I think he's a little bit younger than me by a couple of years. But yeah, so he's been running it for a long time too. And everyone has always such nice things to say about it. So I think I'd love to go try it and run at altitude. Although like running a 10-mile race at altitude just seems like real punishment. But I think it'd be fun. I just like the energy looks so great. Tastefully chaotic asks, any recommendations for a faster day shoe with decent cushioning that isn't from Nike? I've been looking at the A6 Evo Ride or the Ultra Escalante 2, but I'm not sure yet. I think the Evo Ride is a great choice. I also think the Rincon is a good choice as well from Hoka. If you're used to, yeah, I think, and the Rincon is usually the shoe that I recommend to people that are like, I normally run in Nikes, but I'm looking to try something else. What do you kind of think? So that's another one that I look at. I'd also look at the Boston 9. That's one of my favorites. I like the Hyperion Tempo and the Endorphin Speed. Like those are some of my favorites right now. Rain Runner says, would you have to spend a week or so at altitude to acclimate before running a race in Colorado? I mean, I think that'd be ideal. It would be better, but you know, I wouldn't be going there to try and win anything. And so I think that, yeah, I'd be really hurting. My pace would have to come down. Like I would have to slow down quite a bit to accommodate for the altitude. But I mean, I don't think you need to. When I did that Ragnar event in the Tetons, we were out in, was it Wyoming or Idaho? I don't know I don't remember what. We were in Jackson Hole. I flew into Jackson Hole, I think. Did I? I don't remember. Anyway, the resort that we were staying at where the event was, I think that the altitude there was 7,000 feet. And I flew in like on a Wednesday and I had to start running Friday morning. So like, or did I fly in Thursday? I don't remember. I didn't give it a lot of time. I think I had like one night. And so it must have been like Thursday that I flew in the morning. So I had like less than 24 hours before I had to start running. I would not say that I was acclimated. I also wasn't running any hills or doing any trail work. So I was a fish out of water. And I remember just walking up a hill like had me winded. I was like, whew, this altitude is no joke. And it was no joke. Yeah, I really struggled. But, you know, I still had a lot of fun running, even though I wasn't acclimated. All right. Let's see. Martha says, Kofuzi, if you race in Boulder, come visit us at 7,900 feet for the week before we lived here and used to come play in the music fest. Okay. It took me a week to start getting adjusted. All right. Maybe I'll do that. I mean, well, I mean, I think that'd be a super fun trip. That sounds like fun. Cabe the Bears here says, hey, what's up? And Mapster says, love the shirt. Are you going to review the Ride 13 Saucony? Yes, I am. I'm waiting for it to come in from Roadrunner Sports. They're sending me a pair. And so they were on back order. So I think that's good news for them that they had it on back order. And so as soon as they get another pair to send out, I asked for the black one. So I don't know if I said like send me anything, I think they probably could have sent me one sooner, but I asked for the black one. And so, although I don't think I'm hoping that there's still going to be a blackout colorway, but I don't know, but we'll see. I'll get a black one, I think, hopefully soon. I think I asked for the black one, but anyway, whenever it comes, I'm eagerly anticipating it. I've heard good things so far about it. And I've liked the rides. I've been a fan of I haven't liked the last two rides all that much. They were good, not great. But I'm a fan of the ride series, so I want it to be good. Raid Runner says, can't wait for the Colorado vlogs. Yeah, I mean, don't hold your breath. I don't know when that's gonna be. Yeah, so like, I'm not really planning on going anywhere at any time in the near future. Ed Gar says, I'm wearing the New Balance More version 2 right now. What do you think about that, Ed? I know, like, I love the idea of the New Balance More, and then, like, I was about to get it, and I started hearing lots of people reviewing it saying, like, don't even bother. So I was like, okay, I won't then. So interesting to see what the New Balance More version 2 looks like, because it looks like it's less, like, goofy of a looking shoe, but we'll see. MC1796 says, Kofuzi, would you ever do one of those running vacations in Kenya? I love the idea. I think what I'd rather do is one of like the running vacations that you can do like up in Montana, or like different like trail running camp excursions like that. I think I'd probably do first to kind of like get used to the idea. I'd love to do like vacation races as a race company that they do just like half marathons and stuff. So I probably would like start there. I did like the Ragnar and the Tetons. That was awesome. Maybe I'll find something with like a couple of days of running, you know. Yeah, I have to build up to that. I don't know how much my wife would like be like, hey, I'm gonna leave 2 weeks to go to Africa and run for a while. I don't know how much she would like that idea. But I think if I was like, yeah, I got me and my buddies, we're going to go up to Montana for a little while. That, I think, I could sell that. I could maybe sell that one. Yeah. Spence Ohm says, seems like everyone is in Boulder right now. TAS, Tin Man, Ben Crawford. Yeah, there's a lot of people. Amelia Boone just went up there, moved up there too. Emily Boone, I forget. I'm drawing a blank on like her first name. A lot of runners are up there. Yeah, but I think that my understanding of Boulder is that like there's like a little bit of like a growing tension between like the hardcore locals like that have been there a long time and like people that would be like me that are like showing up to use it as like a training grounds. But you know. I'm sure that's only going to continue because it seems like such a beautiful place. DD says, I got the Saucony Ride 13 from Roadrunner Sports in black, and they arrived a couple days ago. Love them. Great daily trainer. Awesome. That is great to hear because I'm excited about the Ride 13. Let's see. Where was it? There was a question about Run Gum. Steven Justo says, have you ever tried Run Gum? If so, is it effective? Which is your favorite flavor you recommend? I haven't tried Run Gum before. It's a product I'm just not that interested in. I think you're supposed to chew it before your runs. For a while, I was like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to chew gum and run at the same time. That seems weird. And then people were like, no. You chew it like before you run. And then you have the caffeine in your system. So like, I mean, I guess like if you have a real long run, you can pop in a piece as you're running. But I don't know. Like gum and running is not a good combo for me. I used to do that a lot, and I've swallowed a lot of gum that way. So like, this would have been like 20 years ago, how I used to run like that. And so I just don't. Because remember Gatorade made gum? Does anyone remember that? Anybody? I remember that. I loved that stuff. Do they still make it? I don't think they still make it. But yeah, so I'm not that interested in it. Mark Greeny says runners like getting high, makes them fast. In parentheses, elites in Colorado. I mean the altitude, I feel like it's established at this point that altitude is good for you if you're running distance. I think if you're running, is it? I don't think it's as beneficial if you're running sprints, but for distance runners for sure. Tastefully Chaotic says, I've been looking for a speed challenge, so I want to run a 10K in 60 minutes. That's why I'm after a fast shoe. I'm becoming addicted to running. I mean, it is addicting. And once you start going down that path, there's always going to be something else that comes down the line that you're going to want to push yourself for, which is always, I think, is a great thing about it. You're not going to get bored. And if speed, constantly going faster and faster, doesn't interest you after a while, you can think about different challenges and other kinds of running to do. I, for example, want to do a steeplechase. I haven't forgot about the steeplechase. I want to do a steeple. But I just don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know when, if the Ivy League has just canceled all Division I sports for the fall. I don't know what that means for winter sports, like indoor track season and like outdoor track season where there's steeplechase. But I feel like it could be a very long time before there's like an AAU or like an amateur masters level steeplechase event. But once there is, I will be there. Matthew Lai says, Kofuzi, if I'm running 70 miles a week, how often do you think I should replace the Atreyus? I'm looking to see if I want to get the subscription shipments, but not sure how often I should get them. Well, I mean, if you're running 70 miles a week, I'm assuming you got at least like 2 shoes. So if you're running like say 35 or 40 miles a week in them, which could very easily be done, I don't know. I would probably plan for the next one to arrive at about 200 to 250 miles and then see where it goes from there. Um, I haven't seen anyone do a real long-term test on those. Maybe that's what I need to do. Instead of just getting to the 100 with them, get to 300 and see what they look like, see what they feel like. So maybe I'll kind of do that test as well, because I do like mine. But yeah, so if we're talking about like 40 miles a week, um, so that puts you after like 5 weeks. So maybe monthly if you're running that much, and if you really like the Atreus and are going to use them consistently that much every week. So maybe monthly, or maybe every other month. I think that in the beginning, just get them every month, and then if you find like, oh, I've only got like 150 miles on mine after the first month because I'm rotating with other shoes, you can adjust your subscription period or your frequency. I don't think there's any like penalty or benefit to do more or less frequent, I think. MC1796 has always wondered why the YouTube runners are in Boulder as opposed to Flagstaff. I mean, I think Flagstaff has an opportunity to become, another place. I'm surprised that there is a lot of YouTube running going on in Flagstaff, though. That's the thing. But most of it is under the NAZ Elite umbrella. And like, I don't know if like, I don't know if it's just like in there, like there aren't like non-elites that are YouTube running. Maybe there are, and I just don't know who they are. But I would love to go train for a while in Flagstaff or in Boulder or in Mammoth Lakes, any of those places where there is lots of altitude, very close to not so high altitude, and great running and lots of soft surfaces, things like that. So, yeah. Martha says, isn't the ride kind of heavy? I tried it years ago and thought it was too heavy. It has always been a little bit of a heavier daily trainer. But I always felt very like encapsulated in a way in them. And so whenever I was looking for something like a little bit more, not protective, that's not the right word, but like protected is kind of the word I'll use. That's where I kind of have enjoyed the ride as like this isn't fast. This isn't exactly the most nimble of shoes, but somehow I still really like running in it. And so like it took me as like being like a kind of a quirky shoe, and I really took a shine to the Ride 10 GTX that I ran in the winter. And it might just be that I only like it as a winter shoe, because I really like that. And then the Ride ISO and the Ride ISO 2, which were the next two iterations, I only ran with those in the summer, and I felt like they were not as great. So maybe it's just that I like it more in the winter, where I don't mind having a little bit more to cover up my feet when it's cold out. I don't know. We'll see. I can't wait. Cabe the Bear says, do you think you can stay injury-free throughout a season running in the same pair of trainers? I'm only able to afford a pair of shoes for racing and a pair for training, and which shoes are best? I think it depends on the mileage, Cabe. So that's something to consider. I don't know what distance you're racing, but let's assume it's like you can tell me if I'm wrong, but if it's something in the 5K to 10K racing, I think you could definitely do that. And in that situation, I'd look for something in the daily trainer category, and then something else that you can really lightweight that you could do a lot of racing / fast training in. So I would think something like an Adios 5, or if you're looking to save money, look for an Adios 4. Like an Adios 4 and a Boston 8. That would be a really great combo. Pegasus Turbo, like version 2, which is has been out for a while now, and like a Peg 36, which is last year's shoe. I think that would also be a really great 1-2 combo as well. I think the New Balance Beacon, version 1 or version 2, if you can find them, those are pretty well discounted as well. That can serve a lot of your needs. So that way, if you need like a spike or something, you could do almost all of your running in the Beacon 2, and then just do like your track work and your racing and your spike. So that's another way that you could look at it. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna fast forward down towards the bottom. Okay, so Cabe the Bear says, yeah, I'm training for cross currently, so 5Ks. Yeah, I think so. The other thing that could change a lot of that would be the kind of terrain that you're running on for your races, and for most of your running. So if most of your running's on concrete, then but your races are on muddy, grassy, hilly kind of courses, then that's going to change things up a little bit. And I would recommend finding a good cross country racer, which I'm afraid I'm not very well versed in anymore. And then try to find a solid, like something in the daily trainer category, maybe even one with bigger lugs in them, maybe an older peg trail or a Terra Kiger if a lot of your training is going to be on grass. So that's another thing to think about. Radovan Zauska says, hi from Germany. Kofuzi, which Boston best for you? 4, 5, 8, 9, or Pro? I've not tried the 4 or 5. Oh, Adios. Well, I think you mean like the Adios 4, the Adios 5, the Boston 8, Boston 9, or the Adizero Pro. I think my favorite one out of all those is probably the Boston 9 for 2020. Yeah, so I think that's my favorite. Stephen Justo says, have you seen any of the Bowerman Track Club racing series? The group is on fire. I've seen that they've been doing some races. I haven't had a chance to watch them yet. But yeah, I hear they've been running some really fast times, which is cool. It's exciting to see. Javier Quintero says, if you had to race a marathon tomorrow, what shoe would you wear? Endorphin Speed. Or maybe the Fuel Cell TC. And then third choice would be the Endorphin Pro. If there were a lot of downhill and uphill, the Endorphin Pro might move up in the rankings. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Let's see. Cave the Bear says, clarifying on his training, most of my running are on hard-packed dirt trails. I don't know what race courses are like yet because I'm an incoming freshman. Oh, cool. Yeah, so I would say, hard-packed dirt trails. That makes it a little bit easier because then you don't need to have something that's more trail-oriented. So I would say I think that hard-packed dirt, New Balance Beacon would be a good choice still. Pegasus would be a good choice, or a Peg Trail. I think those would still be good choices too. Awesome. Yeah, Christopher Colangelo says, spot on with the Peg 36 Trail for our off-road cross-country trainer. Handles grass, road, and hard-packed dirt. Well, yeah. I think that was a remarkably successful shoe. It was a really good shoe. Very, very versatile. Mad Wheezy 420. I think you asked this yesterday. Did you ask this yesterday? Are you going to try the Alpha Fly? Someone asked this to me yesterday, but I'm probably going to pass on that. Yeah, MC1796 says, triggering all the Nike heads, but not saying Alpha Fly. LOL. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to try. Haven't tried it. I'm not that interested in trying it. So that's probably why it's not on my list. I think it's probably at the top of most people's running lists. And they're probably not wrong, but it's not for me. All right. Let's go up here a little bit. See what else we got. Mark Rennie says, Field of Dreams, build a steeplechase track in Iowa. They will come. There's space for one out there. When you turn off the road to get down in the Field of Dreams, it's probably a nice long straight with a general sloping downhill. It's probably a good at least a third of a mile from the turnoff, and then you're on a dirt road to get like the driveway to get to the house that's on there. And to the right, there's a big grassy area, which I think a lot of times that's where like people park their cars and stuff. So they'd have to figure out something else for parking, but there is certainly room for a track out there. That would be kind of fun. But I mean, I think before they built a track out there, they'd probably build more baseball fields, which there's been a lot of like attempts at doing stuff at that Field of Dreams location. Kevin Costner owns a minor league baseball team, or he did. And at one time he was trying to buy it. I think the people that own it now are, there was one group that owned it, like somewhere from like the suburban counties in Chicago that bought it. And they wanted to turn it into like a winter like baseball training camp, kind of like year-round training camp facility, so that they can, people could compete with not having to go to Arizona or Florida in the wintertime to train for baseball. That was the plan. I think they bought the property and then they did nothing with it. And then, it's changed hands a whole bunch of times. There's been disputes because I think the part of the site is owned by one family, and then, or was like originally owned by one family, and then like the house itself was owned by another. So there's a lot of discussion about here's what's going to happen, and it's going to be super exciting for the community and for baseball fans, and then kind of nothing ever really happens. That's why I'm surprised they actually built a second field next to the original one to play that Major League Baseball game. But I mean, I don't know if that game's going to actually happen, so we'll see. All right. MC1796 says, I feel a lot more excited about the thought of moving to San Diego than Boulder or Flagstaff, though. Running in 70 degrees Fahrenheit every day, all year round, sounds lovely. I mean, I think, though, that not all of San Diego feels like that. I think that once you get inland a little bit, it gets hot fast. That's my understanding. What do they call it there? Inland Empire? Or is that somewhere in LA? But there's once you get inland, either in both of those cities anyway, it gets really hot quick. But I mean, San Diego also has a lot of great running history to it. And it's one of my favorite places to visit. I love San Diego. That I could very easily move there, except for the fact that it's really expensive to live there. I could very easily live there. In terms of climate, running, just general livability. Yeah, it's beautiful. Mr. McLevin says, "Hey Kofuzi, have you heard about the Mont Blanc Marathon?" I'm not sure if I've heard about that. I'm aware of UTMB and there's a whole bunch of races that happen in Chamonix, but I'm not so sure about that one in specific. Tastefully Chaotic says, stupid question, but what does the shoe drop do? The trainer that I have is a 5mm drop. Would I feel the difference with a 10mm drop trainer? Please forgive 9 units. No problem, Tastefully Chaotic. Well, the shoe drop, it's if this is a 0 drop, that means the amount of foam in the heel is the same as the amount of foam in the forefoot. And then a 5mm drop means there's a little bit more in the heel than in the forefoot, and 10mm drop means there's a little bit more. I think of it as angle of attack, and lots of people have different thoughts on heel drop, but I would say go with what's comfortable for you. If you're fine with the 5mm, there's nothing wrong with it. If you're fine with 10mm, there's nothing really wrong with that either. I've been running in 0 drop shoes lately and up to 12mm drop shoes and kind of lots of stuff in between. And they all just kind of feel different. They give me a different kind of sense of aggressiveness or nimbleness or agility. I'd say generally the higher the heel drop, the more kind of the idea is that it gets you leaning forward a little bit more and you feel like you're turning over faster. But I generally find that the shoes that are 12mm heel drop shoes, I never feel all that fast in them. 10mm I feel is good. A lot of the racing shoes these days that have thick stack heights but still want to go fast are in the 8mm category. But it used to be that people used to think if you want to race you go 0mm drop because like a track spike. But I think it's an overrated kind of thing to worry about. I wouldn't worry about it too much. It gives you kind of some ideas of what the shoe's going to feel like, but I don't think it really, that in and of itself isn't what makes or breaks a shoe. All right. Mad Weezy says, 420 says, it's way hotter than 70 in San Diego. Yeah, I will agree with that. I think it certainly gets hot. I've run in hot temperatures in San Diego, but it's very runnable. I mean, it's runnable all year round. There isn't a time of year, I don't think, in San Diego where you can't really enjoy some good long-distance running. Steve Armberg says, the Field of Dreams game is scheduled, Cards versus White Sox, I think. Yeah, I mean, it still is, but they have canceled all kind of whatever. like the undercard. There were some other games that were supposed to happen as well. Although I think there's a first responders game that's still going on. So like, I don't know if it's like firefighters versus police or what. I don't know how they would have that. There's lots of firefighters around here, but they're all volunteer. Most of the fire departments around here are volunteer fire departments. And like, there aren't that many cops. There's state troopers, but like, I think Guttenberg has one cop, but I don't know if they share that cop with other towns. New Vienna, I don't think has a cop anymore. So like, I don't know how they would do, like, maybe it'd be EMTs versus fire department. I'm not sure. But like, that game might still be going on, but other like fan events have all been canceled, and they're even talking about, they're not sure if they're even going to allow fans at the game. So it's scheduled, but I have a feeling that there'll be some changes. Well, I mean, we'll see. Jay Weingart says, all things the same as far as conditioning. How much slower are you per mile in 90-degree weather versus 40-degree weather? I'm not sure. I think it's like when. Like in the first mile, probably not that different. First 5K, 10K, maybe not that different. I mean, I basically have like one speed anyway. But like moderate is as fast as I can go. Like I have one moderate pace that I can run pretty much. But I think that for me, where it would really show up is like after like the 15-mile mark and later. That's where I just feel like I would start melting and falling apart. And it's not so much that it's like a static, like, yeah, you add 30 seconds or you add 20 seconds per mile. I just think that the amount of how quickly I get to fatigue is where it would really hit me. So I would say if I were going to run a marathon in 90-degree weather, I'd probably back off by a good 20 to 30 seconds at the start just to figure. I mean, I don't really know. I've never run a marathon in that kind of temperature. I think probably only triathletes are the only ones that regularly do that. But like Ironman. But like I've never run that hot. This is a good question. I don't know. Joshua Espinosa says, I'm from San Diego and it gets way hotter out here. Last couple of days it hit around mid-high 80s, dude. I think he's kind of rubbing it in. Because that's hot. Mid-80s is hot. But like there are, it's still pretty nice in San Diego. Let's see. Yeah, Martha says, yeah, it's hot when you get away from the Pacific Ocean. Mm-hmm. I think it's that you get the Pacific, the current comes from the north down. Is that why it's always, the water's always so cool? I think that's right. Because it's not coming down from Mexico up. It's coming, yeah. Because I think on the East Coast, it goes the other way. It comes from the south and northward. And so the water has much more of a different effect on the climate on the East Coast than it does on the West. I think, or I might be making that up, but that's what I thought. Let's see, Rainrunner said, I tried an ASIC shoe after running in Hoka's for years. I can't get used to the 10mm heel drop. I mean, there are, I think they're classic, like they're legacy, classic quote unquote, they're legacy shoes. The ones that I've like are in the 20-something editions of them are all in the 10mm category. But I think the newer ones aren't, I want to say. I'm not sure. Mr. Random says, I did my longest run ever today. And we'll probably end with this one for today because it's getting pretty late, 3:45. Anyway, Mr. Random says, I did my longest run ever today. Congratulations. Just short of 18 miles. So I am wondering how long or short should my run tomorrow, or should I just take the day off? I have one follow-up comment on that. If it was your longest run ever today, why did you leave it just short of 18? I mean, normally I don't like round up the number. I stop when I'm done running, and like whatever the watch says is what it says. But if I were trying to run like a longer distance for the day and you're just short of 18, why didn't you go to 18? I remember one time I ran, like, this was before I was really running like a 20-mile run was like a momentous thing for me. I ran like 19.85 miles one day, and on Strava, Seth James Demore, Seth goes, why didn't you just run 20? He like yelled at me about it for a while. It was pretty funny. He gave me a hard time. But so I'm gonna pass that along to you too. But anyway, congratulations on your longest run. That's a long way to go. In terms of how long or short should your run be tomorrow, I'd say it depends on how you're feeling, and how much longer than your longest run ever it's been, and kind of what your training has been like the last couple of weeks. So I'd say it's completely fine to take a complete rest day. Don't be scared to do that. Make sure you're hydrating today, and whatever you do tomorrow, make sure you're hydrating well tomorrow as well, and keep your nutrition up. Make sure you're replenishing all those things that you lost on that long run for today. But if you're going out for more of like an active recovery run for tomorrow, I'd say if you just did an 18 miler and that's your longest ever, I'd say go out for like 30, maybe 45 minutes, something super easy, nothing too intense. Just get the legs moving. So that's kind of what I would recommend. Don't worry about the distance. Just get out there for some time, so you can get everything moving and get the blood flowing. But congratulations on the almost 18 miles for today. I'm sure you'll get the 18 next time. All right, that's where I'm going to wrap it up for today, guys. Thanks so much for joining me today. I had a lot of fun talking to you guys, as always. I will have a video tomorrow. I'm talking about short shorts. I don't know if you guys saw it in my Instagram today, but I had some new 2-inch shorts coming in. I had a whole bunch of shorts come in lately, so I'm going to do kind of like a summer running shorts like round 2. And that'll be tomorrow. So hopefully you check that out. And we'll do another live stream in the afternoon, same time, 3 p.m. Central Time. And I hope to see you guys there. In the meantime, stay safe out there on your runs, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everybody.